Alright, picked up a new toy, Suzuki LTR450, and just wanted to make a quick video on how to install a light bar on these things. Alright, first things first, this is an Amazon purchase. It is not one of the more expensive brand lights. You can find these, they're 36 watt, about 15 to 20 bucks. And this bracket is actually made by Rigid, and this bracket came in one piece. So I wanted to be able to put this, you know, the light notification plastic shield back on here, and because this was one solid piece, that wouldn't work. So first and foremost is I took this bracket and took it to a grinder and cut it off there, and here just kind of polished those edges, then painted them so they wouldn't rust, and it doesn't really affect the quality of the bracket. It's held on to these 4 bolts. So bolts get installed, bracket gets held up, and light sits like this. So I wanted to find an easy way without running wires back to the battery. So what I found is coming out of the back of the headlight are 3 wires, black, white, and yellow. Now the yellow wire happens to be the bright, and the white is the normal headlight. So what I did is I followed those wires back up here, and coming out of the run switch and headlight switch, you'll find a group of cables. And if you carefully splice into that group right here without cutting into the other wires, you can access that yellow cable. And so what I did is found that yellow cable, and I took the hot wire from my light, and I used one of these splicers and crimped the hot wire to the yellow in that cable group. Now there was a black in there, and the black ended up not being ground. I tried it. So what I had to do is I used a butt connector and took some wire from the ground cable in the light, and I ran it down through here and found this little tab right on the frame, and I ended up running a bolt through it to ground it out. Now basically I'm running an extra 36 watts off of the stock switch, and so what I get is there's my lows, no headlight, or I'm sorry, no LED, and when I turn my highs on, I still have the high beam down low and the LED up top. So pretty simple way to add extra light. It's pretty bright, especially compared to the stock, and basically cost under 50 bucks. You might be concerned about the wattage on this thing. It's my understanding from reading some forums that the stock stator on these bikes is 125 watts. So it's also my understanding that the headlights are putting out about 45 watts. So if you do the math, watts is volts times amps, and we don't even come close to hitting the 125 watts when you factor in the 36 watt LED light bar and the 45 watt stock headlight. Along with cutting down the bracket, I also had to shave some of this plastic. So right off of this edge, I went straight up and followed that curve line and cut that all the way off. It was out to here. And I also had to cut, oh, there are these little pop outs on either side. And if you trim all that off with a Dremel, it still looks pretty good, and will end up popping right back on here for a more factory look. Just make sure the wires aren't in the way. This has got plenty of slack running down too for the sharp turns, and this thing just pops right back on. There you have it, light bar.